First of all, I think your analysis was very straight line. History doesn't run in a straight line.
Kid, you cannot tell your neighbor he is stealing ducks when you are stealing funds.
As High Commissioner, I was wrong. As Charandas Prasad, I reacted naturally how any person would have.
I did not come here for that kind of abuse. I did not come here for that kind of abuse. If you're going to go down that road, I'll walk off.
But it's all okay once they're talking. If they were talking, I could not have been here today.
You got ADHD.
I got
that. Calm down.
I think I've done enough in terms of taking our team out of trouble from losing.
Come on, Lou Taylor. You got script. I'm reading the script now, and the first person that comes to my mind to play a detective,
Yes,
but
an
an erratic
Mikhail
detective is Mikhail Rodriguez.
Why an African slap an Indian? Why a man and slap a woman? Look, Gildarie, you deal with that. You deal with that.
We must encourage platforms like this because it brings together different people and allows for discussions to take place in our country on a multiplicity of fundamental issues.
Gildarie, you apologizing for something you think I did is wrong. I don't want you to do that, and you should not have done that. Good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, based on time, different time zones in the world. If you have your smartphone or your smart television, you are watching the Gildarie Freddie Kissoon show. The end of July marked 14 months that we have been coming to you, and once again, for the upteen time, thanks for your appreciation. Thanks for enjoying with us for 14 months. This evening, Friday, as usual, we have a call-in program that goes until 10 o'clock. The call-ins are always 1.5 hours. So even if it's not Fridays and we have a call-in on Monday or Wednesday, we go for an hour and a half. We have special topics this evening, but you can't stop people from calling in and telling us what their problems are. And that's appreciated. You may have a bridge that is broken down and school children have to walk over that bridge. And it's important that people know that the bridge needs to be fixed. So we do have specific topics, but as usual, people will come in with their problems. These call-in programs remind me of my youthful days when you had the Forbes-Burnham government. Things were falling down and were very bad. And you had a nightly program called Action Line. And people would call in Action Line and talk about the problems. Remember, that was bad days, GPL, no water. And the station, at least at that time, did a good thing. We can't do that because we are not funded as the radio station in those days, 40 years ago. They would make note of the complaints and they would send it out the next day to the different ministries. Remember, that was one government which owned everything in Guyana. So they would send these things out to the ministers. Here, we can't do that. We have to rely on hope. That's Gildarie and I. We have to rely on hope, hoping that when people call in, it reaches the ear of important people and they act on it. I will have say my little thing, and then I will hand over to the man I always refer to as one of the best journalists in Guyana. And I think Guyana is served well by having the presence of some journalists on the scene. And Guyana is served well by having Gildarie and his temperament on this program. Remember, I'm the opposite to Gildarie. I fly off my hand, talk loudly, aggressively, whilst Gildarie has the more cool temperature. And so you need that kind of presence in journalism. So I will talk my little thing as Gildarie usually do when he leads off. One of the topics this evening is President Ali at 3, meaning 3 years of President Ali. And as you know, I do a daily column for the Chronicle, and I will assess his 3 years in office. I think President Ali, my educated mind, my training, my study of political theory and study of Guyana would not lead me to think in any way that this man is not an acceptable leader who is doing good things. All governments have their faults. All governments. For example, the Secretary of State of the United States is defending the charge of Julian Assange, which was maliciously instituted by Donald Trump when he was president. That's a huge mistake in the Biden presidency. So governments make mistakes. But I will say this evening, and I will respond to your calls, I think Dr. Irfan Ali is a democratic man with democratic instinct, with multiracial instinct, and let us give him a chance to realize one Guyana. The other topic, and I will discuss this and hand over to Gildarie. The other topic concerns a certain mindset that we have in this country that intends to make this country's life miserable, but it would not happen because there are those of us who will expose them. Now listen to this and tell me if this makes sense, if this was not mischief. The small unknown group Red Thread went on their webpage and saw a message sent to them saying, watch out for a car. They give the license plate. That car is going to drive up with a hitman and attack you guys. He has been paid $10 million. The person behind this is a well-known businessman and member of his family. They say that you're giving the US information about this businessman. The businessman is also planning to bring in ISIS terrorists and attack the US embassy. And that message left an email address. And that email address was Guyanese Critic. Now, what Red Thread did, what no normal human being would do. First, what a normal human being would do. Any 14-year-old boy, if he goes on his Facebook page and somebody says, you're going to be expelled on Monday because you went to the Ministry of Education and bad talk the headmistress, and that person left the email address. It is so natural for you to contact the person that left the email address and say, you send me this thing? I never attacked our headmistress. What is going on? Red Thread didn't call one of the most famous names in Guyana, household name in Guyana, Guyanese Critic. Didn't call him, but took the actual message, sent it out to the media, and sent it out to the police. It so happened, Mikhail Rodriguez, the Guyanese Critic, say, I don't know what Red Thread is talking about. I never sent any email to Red Thread warning them, but somebody is going to attack them. Now, that is serious. That is serious and dangerous because you could expose the man to harm, and the man didn't send it. The man says he will sue Red Thread, and I'm urging him to do that. Why would somebody pay a former soldier $10 million to harm Red Thread when you could just open the papers, go on Facebook, and see the names, well-known names, that are criticizing the businessman? Nobody has ever read anything Red Thread has said about the businessman. You know what? Red Thread was looking for publicity. And it's a very nasty, cheap and ugly way to look for publicity. And if Mikhail Rodriguez is listening, is watching this program tonight, he said he will sue Red Thread. I would like to see how that case will come out. I think I've said enough. The lines will be open after Gildarie has his intervention, and we go until 10 o'clock. Once again, welcome, and over to Guyana's enduring journalist, Leonard Gildarie.
Thank you very much there, Freddie Kissoon. Good night, folks. I'm not sure why you keep using the word enduring. Enduring sounds as if an energizer kind of thing going on there.
But you don't know the right meaning of enduring.
But maybe
it means
not.
To last long, to be around, to persevere.
To persevere in that sense. Yeah. Well, I do thank you. I think you're kind with words in this particular case.
I mean, with joy.
Well, that's okay. You and I are different, and that is what this country is all about. Folks, Freddie would have raised two issues there. Let's start with the last. You may not know, there's a lot of cases solved in America because technology is so advanced now. If you go with your phone in a particular area and you commit a murder, for the police to put you on that particular scene, they have what you call a triangulation, I think it is. Technology that will put you between towers, and they could say whether you are in a particular area because the phones, cell phones that you have, it pings off those towers, or it sends signals to those towers, and so they could be able to tell you if a murder occurred in that area and your phone is on. They could be able to pinpoint that area, whether you are in that particular area at a particular time. That's one. Second thing is, it's very easy to determine if you have the right technologies, and I do believe that our authorities here have it. If you send somebody a message, I sent Freddie Kissoon a text message and I deleted off my phone, and that number is not known. Let's say I use another phone. They could be able to know where it came from. If you use the internet and you send a message to that particular website and say, I am Mikel Rodriguez, the police, the authorities, whichever one, security forces in most countries have the capabilities of being able to come back and say this particular IP address, or this particular address, or this device would have sent it. That is how technology is. So it's going to be very easy to determine whether or not Guyanese critic did that. And if he is able to prove that, it's going to be a walk in the park. Organizations have to be very responsible. We have to be very responsible in how we live our lives. Freddie Kissoon cannot go and do things and believe that it is hidden. Somebody got a camera. You got to carry yourself in certain ways. This goes the same for not only individuals in public arenas, but also organizations. So you don't want to be scoring cheap points out there, and you know that you don't have any grounds, because it's very easy for a man to defend himself. The courts are there. Secondly, Irfan Ali being sworn in as the president of Guyana and his administration after he would have become president. We would have done the same last year, and this year we're going to do it again. How do you rate him? Let me start. One of the biggest regrets that I have, and I'll come back to how I rate Irfan Ali. But one of the biggest things that I regretted under this administration is the fact that we don't have all hands on deck. And what do I mean by that? The president has a program, and there has been talks back and forth, but you cannot fault the One Guyana campaign that he is trying to build, that legacy that he's trying to build. If not that, what is the answer to that? And people come out and put different things. It says it should not have been this way, it should have been that way. I believe it's a very solid campaign, it's a very solid program, because there's one thing he's trying to do, bring all Guyana, put the necessary programs in place, bring all the races, and I have said my piece with regards to races in this country. But he is on a solid trajectory with growth in this country. He has inherited something. He has inherited the oil and gas industry, which started to take off under him. He could have gone in a direction and screwed that up, throw it away by making some very bad decisions. I can't fault him with regard to some of the decisions that he has made. I saw he did an interview and he spoke about several points as to how he wants to develop this country. hotels being built, roads being built, villages, lands being opened, and he spoke about the spin-off, the ripple effects that comes along from that. Coming back to my original point, the biggest regret that I have, and I think that is going to be a stumbling block into how fast we could have developed, had we had the opposition really agreeing to some things that the government and the country is doing, we could have been far ahead of the game, stood as one people, and I think that's one of the biggest drawbacks. Irfan Ali, as a president, I think he's done remarkably well. I think he has a lot to prove. He has maybe another term coming based on what we've seen so far, and he could only, how you say it in cricketing terms, he could only lose a game if he wants to lose a game. And I would leave it as that. I think with the other topic that we would have had here, Freddie Kissoon, is Dr. Roger Luncheon. I said a short thing about my experiences with him. He is somebody that would have had a significant knowledge, the inner workings. He used to be seated as the chairperson of the NIS National Insurance Scheme. He was the cabinet secretary on the Jagdeo, and then I think under Donna Ramatar. He would have also been on the executive of the People's Progressive Party. Very powerful guy. His knowledge as a surgeon and as a doctor. I saw somebody wrote about how he was stymied at the Georgetown Public Hospital because certain people didn't want him to be elevated. That may have been so, but I knew him from when he was cabinet secretary, the government chief spokesman, and we would have not rubbed shoulders, be seated in there, and it was difficult to really deal with him because he was so clever. But we're going to stop here. I think what is also important, what Freddie said earlier too, programs like this cannot be a problem-solving kind of thing. We can only hope that the authorities and the powers are out there. They're listening, because it's impossible for us. We're not government people. This is a program which we take our own resources, and we're fortunate to have the platform, and we have been able to come to you several times per week, and for the last year continuously, Freddie more so than myself, and that has been remarkable. But we're hoping that the authorities are listening. I spoke to the police this morning, and they are really happy that we've raised some issues with regards to the road. I said, you guys are doing a fantastic job on these banks, especially whether we like it or not, controlling hundreds of thousands of vehicles passing up and down every single day on that roadway there. It is not an easy thing, and the policemen are there in the rain and sun every day. Got to give kudos where kudos are due. But I'm going to stop here, Freddie, and we could head straight into the calls. The topics: Roger Luncheon. We could talk about his contributions and who he was. We could talk about Irfan Ali, third year in his presidency, the state of affairs in this country. And of course, what's the other one?
Well, Red Thread. But,
and how easy it is technology.
Yeah. Of course, you know from looking at this program, I do a daily column for the Chronicle, and I will assess Dr. Luncheon in the next column, because I knew him very personally as a personal friend prior to 1992, very closely. That was a time where we were fighting for free and fair elections, and all of us, were concerned with one direction. We need people to vote and have that vote counted. Remember, after Burnham died, Mr. Hoyt came into power, and the 1985 election was terribly rigged. If you think Burnham was bad, that election was the worst compared to those under Burnham. So I knew Roger well in that fight for free and fair election, and all of us, whether PPP, WPA, Democratic Labour Movement, Guyana Human Rights Association, we were all on one bandwagon. And my assessment of him in my column is based on his quintessential character of modesty. If you know the man the way I knew him, that guy, for one of the most powerful power holders in Guyana, was a very ordinary, modest man. I think he picked that up from Dr. Jagan and Mr. Jagan. If you know those two people well, the fact that they were internationally known, the fact that they had very, very well placed people in their lives who had status and who had, privilege. The Jagons were people who were just ordinary. And I could tell you, I've been around a long time, 55 years in politics. Mrs. Jagan never, I could tell you, we in Guyanese have a word we call liming. It really means to socialize. Mrs. Jagan's socialization directions were always among ordinary people. She may, and Dr. Jagan may have known very wealthy people, what have you, but at the end of the day, those were the people Mrs. Jagan and Dr. Jagan were close to. And I can tell you, for someone who knew Luncheon very well, Luncheon never hung out with the upper class people. He probably had to deal with them. They probably invited him. He struck me as a guy who never went to these places. But the reach of his ordinariness is not something we see every day in world politics. Once you get up there and you're there, you drive a $70 million car, you dine at very fancy places. No, Luncheon was not like that. So the phone lines are open. Let's talk about what Retred did. It was very dangerous to say you were advised that people coming to kill you, and you put up to the press and to the police who the people advising you. Those are some of the topics. Of course, you have things on your mind. Tell the Guyanese people about a road that is falling down and it's affecting thousands of people. I didn't know until we had this call-in program that there was a housing estate in Australia and it didn't have roads. And when it rained, people had to get out to the main road walking in mud. Those things are important, but most of all, I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for Leonard Gildarie. It teaches me more about my country, and it makes me feel to be more energetic in bringing this country, bringing this country to modernization and letting it have a future and be going in the direction. You know what I read? And I thought I should let you know. The Italian and Swiss government, not private people, have built a cable car between the two countries to slash more than half the time to travel between Italy and Switzerland. And that cable car system cost billions of dollars. We don't have that kind of money. We're getting there when people want us to come out of the oil industry. When you look at how the developed world spend money, then you're glad we have an oil industry that is bringing in some. Anyway, I don't know if Gildarie phone is ringing. The cell phone on the screen is Gildarie number. The local number is right here in front of me. The phone lines are open.
There were two stories. In the meantime, those calls are coming through. I saw. I remember going to cabinet press briefing, and he used to work with a lot of mints, and he used to be sharing out the mints. So some of the mints were really, really horrible, man. I saw somebody write about one day the guy was a cabinet secretary, and he went into Scotiabank, and let me take this call. I can tell you the Scotiabank story. Good day, caller.
Good day, sir. I'm calling to report that my road is currently in a state. I messaged you a few days back and sent the pictures of the road.
Where's the road and what's happening there?
Well, the road is in Grove. They know that Satno Street, the third corner. Well, the whole street.
You mean the Diamond Grove area?
No, the Satnuka corner there. That edges the door. I think I'd spoken to you and indicated to you that to speak to the village chairman there.
Yes, and I didn't hear from nobody.
Did you try calling him?
I don't have his number.
All right, call me after this program here. I'm going to give you...
But one of the things we could do, if we know people's number, we could call them on this program. If they say, well, don't call me, I'm busy tonight, it's fine. But I think we should do that as part of our job as media people.
Call me after this program here. I believe some people might think umbrage of that. I don't believe that the gentleman that I'm speaking about, Rajendra Paul, who's a chairman of the Grove NDC, would have a problem. I know him very well. So call me after this. I'm going to give you his number.
Okay, sir. Let's take this call.
All right? Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello? You're on. Good evening.
Am I on to the Freddie Gildarie show?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, so I'd like to make a few comments, sir.
Yes, go ahead, sir. But don't take too long, right?
No, the first thing, I feel, in my opinion, as a citizen of this country, that this country is going in the right direction. We have the right minds that are leading this country. The president is doing a great job. He is mixing a lot with people. His ministers are on the ground. You could call any minister, any ordinary citizen who has the phone numbers of ministers. You can call anybody in this country. That is unprecedented. And things are happening. We are developing at a rapid pace. And I must say, after 3 years, we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But what is very disappointing is the Sabbath News editorial on the 2nd of August.
Yeah, I read it.
To just say that I have read that editorial, and I'm sure that that person who wrote that thing is a stranger to the truth in this country, because nothing, no single line in that thing has said anything about the government, anything good about the government. How can you have a newspaper that calls itself a daily newspaper, and this newspaper doesn't really say anything good about the government? An entire editorial and written by the editor. Hello?
Okay, yes, I'm listening. We're listening to you.
Speaking about this Sabbath News thing, it's disappointing to see a daily newspaper writing 100% negative against the government when the government has 100% positive.
Well, before you go, life has always been ironic in Guyana. You would be shocked to know the actual income the Starbuck News earns from state.
From the government.
You would be shocked to know that income actually keeps the Starbuck News alive. But thanks for calling. Thank you very much, sir.
You guys have a good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you for coming through. Roger Luncheon was in the bank. He was a cabinet secretary. And the teller said he didn't have his ID. And the teller says, you got to get the ID. The guy was preparing to come out of the bank to get his ID. And somebody standing in the line says, but do you know who this guy is? And the bank accommodated him.
Okay.
But he was prepared to leave to go pick up his ID. That was spoke to the character of the man.
True. Hello. Good evening. Or if you're calling from London, good morning.
Good evening, Mr. Kissoon, and good evening, Mr. Gildarie.
Good evening.
I am settled with the caller, but I will expound a little on development. In 1992, for example, most of the bridges on the East Coast made their own bridges, especially the one at Oval, the double bridge at Oval, the 4-lane double bridge. That was a wooden bridge. I could remember as a child, my grandfather used to work at a kettle factory in Pleasant. And as a child, sometimes wanted the wood or the plank or the beam break because one of these trucks that transport the rice, sometimes
Yeah, we listen to
listen.
you. Yes, very quickly. Go ahead.
On the East Bank.
Go on, but be a bit brief.
Just a half a minute, I would say.
Yeah, okay.
On the East Bank, I used to go to my relatives in Prospect, and I would spend the summer or the Christmas holiday. And I could remember the time we used to go over the road in the Kingsfield and catch board. Today, that piece of area has been transformed in the space of 3 years. So if one should measure the development that unfolded under the previous PPP government and the developments thus far under the new PPP government for the last 3 years.
Okay.
It's astronomical.
Okay,
so
sir.
That's a great night.
Thanks for coming through. Bye-bye.
And I think one of the important things that I come back to, or what I pointed out to Freddie, is that Irfan Ali and this administration could have really taken the oil opportunities, the oil and gas opportunities, and really gotten it bad, made some bad decisions. You see what is happening in Trinidad and around the world, some of the mistakes that they've made. In the meantime, people are coming through. Is that a thought that you also hold, that you're surprised at how far we've come?
Well, if there's someone coming through,
right.
Is there someone?
No, sir.
Well, I think that sugar had offered some opportunities from the late 19th century onwards, but you can't compare that to what we have discovered. We have discovered oil in quantities and quality that makes this country, give this country a route, a direction to take off. And I think we are taking off. I don't want to get into economic theory about the stages of growth. That was a very famous book. But yes, there can be no question about it. With the oil industry, it may last another 40 years. We should be secure.
231-2982, or you could call us on 637-1071. Call you.
Good evening. Good evening. So tune down your volume, sir. Tune down the volume.
All right.
Oh my, tune down your volume.
No, you got to take off what you're listening to right away, sir.
Yeah, boss.
Yeah.
Right, go ahead now.
Mr. Ali doing a very good job. And I appreciate that. When they got one of these people, I was in the bed this afternoon, and a car was passing, saying that Mr. Glenlal got some meeting on Block 22. Linden is very quiet. We don't want no meeting here in Linden with Glenlal and all these kind of people. Let them keep the problem in Georgetown, and where they think we want no problem in. Mm-hmm. That's my contribution.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I raised the issue during the last time, Freddie. Politicians in America, congressmen, senators, congressmen, councilmen, councilwomen, if they really want to get, and we'll come back. Okay, go right. Good evening, caller.
Hi, good evening, guys. I have to tell you that my like myself and you guys, my heart beats to Guyana for the Lord.
Go ahead, sir.
I said that my heart beats for a great human being by the name of Roger Luncheon.
Yes.
Yes, I think Guyana has lost one of the brighter son of the soil. I know he was ailing, but it still hurts my heart that Dr. Roger has left us. He reminds me so much when we would have lost people like Firoz Mohammed and Pandit Ripudaman Prasad. Well, I think Roger would have stopped them all sleep on Raja, Luncheon, sleep on, and God bless the family. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, dear. If politicians, you could be in the opposition and still pilot bills through the National Assembly, make laws that benefit the people. I don't believe Irfan Ali and Jagdeo, as leaders within this government, would refuse the opposition if they come with something that benefit the people. Why are you not looking at within the constituency, within the councils and the various areas, and put together laws or things that are going to benefit the people? Why is it that we sit down and wait on the government to do everything? In America, it's a different system, and they're all over the world. Politicians, whether you're in the opposition or the government, come forward and they come up with these draft bills and so on, and they present it. Look, and we need to read. We need to educate ourselves around the world. What is happening around the world. Freddie, we're sitting on our hands, the opposition taking stipends, they're going home, and they're getting duty-free concession. I keep saying that, what have you done for the country? And I'm saying we're losing a golden opportunity. I'm not saying that this government is without its faults. I believe that the president needs to pay more attention at some of his council people or some of the people, although they're independent away from central government. The NDCs, the RDCs, many of them are leaders within the People's Progressive Party. No nonsense. And the president probably have no knowledge of that. And these are areas that we need to tighten. But we need our opposition to really play a role, to put the hands on the deck. And I keep saying that we cannot go forward. We cannot go forward, or not as fast as we want to, unless we have these leaders start taking responsibilities. They have asked the people to vote for them. Good evening, caller.
Good evening. I remember last week, Friday, Kali are covering about how when I received public assistance book one with the remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
And now, is that other Friday, and I did not even receive a word from these people yet.
I think I did send it to I couldn't remember. I will have to remind the minister. I'm not sure whether she give it to our people. I'm going to have to call me after this program here, and let me send her a text right away. I did send it to her, but she could have probably passed it on to the people, and they probably didn't do what they were supposed to do. And these are some of the problems that we have. We can only try so much as we do here, because there's so many problems that people have.
Yeah, I understand.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think this was a case with when her one daughter wasn't getting and the other one was getting, and both of them are physically handicapped.
But you know what is really heartbreaking is that when you look at Guyana and where it's going, I mean, that person should be getting their social assistance, man. These are things that should not happen. Gildarie, should not happen in the real world.
Somebody made a point, one of our viewers a little earlier. They're saying that the other sectors, sugar, mining, forestry, should not be neglected. I don't think there's a case that's been contemplated by the government. What you would want to do is use to make those areas, competitive. In America, the agriculture sector is being largely, the government give a lot of help to those sectors using state monies and so on to prop them up. If you really want to build those areas, you have to be able to give them the kind of help. And I think the government, through the various programs, they have started something. We don't have all the answers. We're still pretty new to this thing. Is the answers going to be cash grant? Is it going to be putting it in subsidies to various areas? Is it going to be building dams, building market to farm roads? What are some of the answers? And I see that they're coming out with, under the various ministries, coming up with these social as well as infrastructural programs to really make the business competitive.
Yeah, let's take this call. Hello there, good evening. You're on to the Gildarie Freddie Kissoon show. Hello?
Hey, Freddie and Gildarie. You guys doing an amazing job.
Good night.
There's a couple observations. I think the president, Ali, doing a fantastic job. But I think he should really try harder to alleviate poverty. I'm not suggesting to give handout, but create opportunities
do you have any idea specifically where are some of the areas that he could definitely, while we're talking broadly on it, if you had to meet the president tomorrow morning and say to the president, look, I want you to look into this, what would you say to him?
Well, basically, a lot of these poor people, they're going to be stuck in poverty for eternity. And that's what poverty does. It's hard to get out. Education is one of the most effective tools to get them out. But they need a hand, to get them. They don't need a handout.
But isn't that what the $200,000? Because you got to put a cap on it somewhere. It is what the government could afford. You have the gold scholarships. Because I know a lot of people doing degrees and all kind of stuff now. But you also need money to start your business. If started, I think it's $200,000. You could get as much as that.
Gildarie, that's a valid point. But a lot of the poor people, they're uneducated. They don't know how to access opportunity. They need people to provide them the hand to show them the way. When people live in poverty, it's ignorance is unfortunately, it's part of the way they live. Another thing you're talking about, sugar. Honestly, throughout North America, people are moving away from sugar. Why? Sugar is the biggest killer of people, biggest source of disease, biggest healthcare cost. So those sugar estates, all those investments, I think it's, would sugar go to business like fossil fuels? No. There will always be need for sugar, but they should convert those places into alternative form of agriculture like cash crop or wheat or whatever. Anyway, you guys did a fantastic job.
Thanks for coming through.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. One of the things I would like to see President Ali, if I'm to see him tomorrow morning, I would like what this program here is doing. He did mention that there's going to be a one-stop shop area where you could probably be able to, people could make the complaints and make the concerns known. I'm going to come back to that issue in a short while. Caller, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Gildarie. I'd just like to make 3 points. The first one, I would like, when people say, Intabali make people take notice, something like that. This story, Mr. Critic, it tells me about the story with Mr. Damilal. You check it out. It tells me the story with Mr. Damilal, where people doing things, and as far as I concerned, listening to quick story, I think it's just that happened to Mr. Damilal. This is the first one. The second one is why Mr. Critic bring David on the show. But wasting time, David, it's the devil likely wasted. You know the man talking, but it's only wasting time. He's the continue in our program. But he never did what I should say. He's saying whenever the government change and the black government go in, it will be a far different. It needs to be a different word. You understand me, Mr. Gildarie?
Yes, I hear what you're saying.
That is what I'm looking up. I sit down yesterday when Critic talking. I said, you know what? This reminds me of Mr. Damilal. You understand? Because it does what it do.
All right. All right. The third point. This is three points.
Yeah. The third point is Mr. Glenal. I don't know if Glenal get president. These things he's just talking about. That one, if he get president, we could do. He come one big eye man, he know everything but who going away, who did this, who did that. I tell him nonsense. I ain't nothing about $10.
Anyway,
he can't no president.
All right.
We have to start.
Thanks for coming through. Thanks for coming through. Let's take this call. Thanks for coming through.
Bye-bye.
Good evening. Good evening to you.
Good evening, gentlemen. Once again, a very interesting program. 2 quick things. First, I'd like to express my condolences on the passing of a great patriot, Dr. Roger Forbes, McDonald Luncheon, named after Burnham, of course. And very quickly, between April 29 and October 2013, I was executive chairman of the advisory committee on broadcasting, and once a month I had to appear before Dr. Luncheon at the office of the president to be questioned on the minutes, the monthly minutes. And I tell you, I had to be 1,000% prepared.
Oh, he's sharp. He was sharp. The guy is incredibly sharp.
In the National Assembly. He was very, very thorough. That's one point I'd like to make. And secondly, Mr. Glenlal virtually every day, talks about foreign gold companies ripping off gold from Guyana. Right now, there's only one foreign gold company that's actually mining gold, the small amount, and that's Zijin, the Chinese at Aurora. The Australians haven't come back at Karuni in the Pataru. And there are 4 Canadian small companies that are actively exploring, mainly in the Oko Arimo area, and they have they've done a lot of drilling, but there's no production. But no Guyanese are actually drilling. It's only the foreigners. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Before you go, are you still there?
Yes, yes.
Could you, if you would like to appear in the program, please let us know.
I know who the gentleman is. Okay. Very well-known Guyanese. Okay. I'm going to call you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good.
Good. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Good evening, caller.
Yes, a pleasant good night to you. How are you?
Pretty good, sir. Go right ahead.
Right. Question for you. Just responding to the gentleman who called earlier, said that if you should meet the president tomorrow morning and to have assistance to the people, to help them elevate out of poverty. My input into that is that I think the government should have a subsidy immediately for the utility in this country for the poor people and different class of people. My reason why I'm saying this is that this will have a great effect into assist the low class of people instantly. You know, we know they're doing schools and road and hospitals and everything, but then you need to have a balance. You need to strike a balance where you're able to do infrastructure, but at the same time, the citizens of the country, they need to get some sort of benefit from the government and so from the sector. So I would suggest that we have a subsidy towards the utility company where these people could have, you know, some relief on the bill, and in that way they can be able to, in terms of help themselves.
All right, so I hear what you're saying there. So there's 2 things, and this is good for the educational people. Very great point, very good recommendations. On gasoline in this country, or fuel coming into this country, over the years, it has been a big area in which government has been making revenues from. GPL, one of the biggest things, as soon as they land oil into this country, there was fuel. Now, government would from time to time depend on the oil prices, adjust that tax that they have. Sometimes they bring it down as low as, or slash it by 10%, 50%. And that's one of the cushioning. But what you were also saying there, for the vulnerables in our society, is that you actually give them another subsidy. So there's already a subsidy on water, for the water companies, because they can't pay for the kind of fuel that is being bought in if the government charges the right tax that they've been charging. But you're also suggesting that they should also put another subsidy for the vulnerables. Great, I think it should go right across for all Guyana. But it's
well, they got to work on the way and the strategy how they can do it for all Guyana. But my take is that there's certain class of people in Guyana that need that assistance.
I know.
They need to have that jump start.
Gildarie and I, on this program, did not agree with 2,000 more being put on social assistance for the budget. I think that was one of the criticisms we had in the budget.
That number should be way higher.
I don't think it was an acceptable budget. But somewhere along the line, someone made a mistake with increasing social assistance by 2,000. I would hope that in the next budget, it will be substantially, significantly, prodigiously improved.
I hear you, Mr. Kissoon. You're absolutely right. I hear you, absolutely right. The other point I want to make is that I think this program have a very, very huge impact on the Guyanese nation. And every ministry should have a system set up, a desk or an office to listen to this program here, because the feedback from here is wider than the president or the vice president or the minister going to the street and walk. This program is where people can be able to hear the concern, the grievance, and there should be some mechanism in place to have a recording done and to give to the ministry and say, look, listen to these people concerned. This is the area we get a point on, and we get able to have different issue. You know, there's a very minor issue to deal with, and these things may be waiting to run to the president, the vice president, the minister, where you have the
yes. If you have if you have an avenue. If you have a mechanism, it cuts out the ministers spending a lot of energy and enduring a lot of headaches to hear these things.
And then, Mr. Kissoon, there's a lot of bureaucracy when you go to meet these people. You know it. You and I could go talk to them, but the other layman who can't even
I take that point. I take that point. My daughter always said to me, "You get through because you're Freddie Kissoon." I take that point.
Yeah, but and parallel to that, I find it unbelievable that companies or businesses in Guyana that are serving the public, like the banks and the insurance companies and so on. How could you say that you're making $2 billion a year in profits and your customer service is lousy and people complain and stand up in lines because you can't hire 3 more tellers? How could is it? And you could put that to parallel to what the government has.
We don't want to call the bank name, but you and I and all of us know the bank very well, right? We are businessmen. We go to the
bank. All the banks. It's almost all the banks. All the banks.
Well, I don't know about you, but in my years of being in the media, 35 years, I know about libel, so I'm careful about libel. But I also believe in contributing to history. The bank that people have been complaining about, and it was said in this program, is Nova Scotia. Timothy Tucker. Right? Well, I'm calling name, and our guest Timothy Tucker named Nova Scotia.
But also what I want to draw the other parallel, it is you cannot have a good government and you want to do all the good protections and spend a lot of money in PR. And when the people go to the ministries or the state agencies, Guy Oil, GA, all of them, forestry and so on, and the customer service is poor, you have to put the mechanisms in place for them to improve.
We got to work on training. Training is very customer service orientation, and training is a lot to do. Delivery service in this country sucks. We have to up the game in it, and I think you two guys will take it where it needs to go. But somebody, not only the viewers here are concerned, but there must be a mechanism in place for somebody to record these things and say, look, we got to deal with this thing here one by one, and at the end of the day, we got to get somewhere,
Yeah, I mean...
Anyway, gentlemen, let me don't hold you all back. You have a good night and stay blessed.
Thank you very much, sir. Bye-bye.
That man, the 2 daughters that are not one getting social assistance, the other, and that shouldn't happen.
I'm going to take it and I'm going to call the minister after this or send her a message and just make sure that she follows up on that. There's a lady sitting on Diamond Road. I did send it to the ministry. Every morning she comes out, so I stop there. Why is she sitting right next to the trench with her umbrella? She says her next door neighbor is giving her hell. And I think something is wrong with her, but somebody really needs to give that woman some help. And I did reach out to the ministry. Good evening, caller.
Hi, Gildarie. Good night.
Good night.
I'm calling. I have some complaint.
Very quickly, go right ahead.
In Berbice, there's a lot of blackout in Berbice, and when you lose current, there's no water, there's no internet.
No, we know the thing of that. Where exactly in Berbice are you living and that you're experiencing this?
I'm living in 64 village.
64? Is it the entire Berbice is having a problem, and what exactly is happening there?
I'm talking to somebody right now. They had blackout like 50 minutes.
Yeah, but that's happening every single day for hours and hours?
Regularly.
No.
No, man.
Is it happening every day for hours and hours?
Not for hours, but when you lose power, it takes like a couple hours for you to get back water and internet, like about an hour.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you see the problem that you have, and a lot of people, and I want GPL to come here too. The problem that GPL got is not on the generations. It's three systems that you got to take into account when you're talking GPL. One, the generation, which is that they must have enough generators to generate the power. Two, transmission. 2 and 3 is transmission distribution. If you don't have proper lines, and you have aging lines, and you have the what you call it, transformers, and so there's aging, you're going to have problems. And any board that goes and sit on one of them, and they have a system that runs from Essequibo Coast, Supernam, straight up to Molson Creek. And if you have that system that is so touchy and feely that the minute that it touches and goes up, you can understand. They were saying, I think it's over $1 billion that they need to fix that system.
But you know, when you finish with that, I think
one point. Whenever, I don't know what happened, if they're servicing line or whatever, they should have consulted people.
And say what to the people? What were they going to say? What they need to do is bring in the exports. I think.
Do some service. We're going to lose power.
Yeah, you have to. Okay, so.
2-3 times a day, like fairy light.
I hope this program goes somewhere into stopping that. I know what it is to endure blackouts often. I know what it is, so.
I think we got another 2-3 years. Not 2-3 years. But thank you very much. I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thanks a lot.
Bye. Good night, Barbies, folks.
Good evening. Lost that caller.
Okay. Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Freddie, and how are you tonight?
Good night, sir.
I'm doing all right. I always try to do all right.
Thanks, and Mr. Gildarie, you're doing okay too.
Yes,
nice
sir.
to see you back.
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations to the president of Guyana for doing a fine job. And at the same time, when he was inaugurated in 2020, there was a poem recited entitled Our History, Our Hope. It was composed by an Annandale High School student at the time, Kareem Backus. And I would like to recite that poem once again. I think it'll be nice for everyone to hear that, the viewers on your show. It's called Our History, Our Hope. We have memorized Guyana, how it was born, who we have become and where we are going. In ceremonies, in silence, we say the words, telling the stories and sing the old songs. We like the places they take us to. Mostly we do. We hear our foreparents speak. The rich taste of our struggles is on our tongue. But where are we going? And why? We mean to be the people we want to be. One people, one nation, one destiny. But how will we fashion the future? Only we can say how. We, the children of Guyana soil. We need to do so now, with waving hands and without a row. We are 6 peoples coming together, and we must not fall apart. We cannot let chaos make its way to our hearts. We cannot let ignorance spread itself. We are too smart. We know what our foreparents did and what we should do to keep our legacy true. We must grow, believe in ourselves towards all that we can be. Just, compassionate, equal and free. The future is in our hands. We are one people, one nation, one destiny.
Very beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
Thanks.
sir.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Thank you very much.
Hello? Hello?
You know, sometimes what I like about this program, Freddie, is that you never know what is going to happen. You never know the fight that's going to bust out between me and Freddie. You never know who's going to sing on this program. You never know who's going to dance. And that's the beauty of this program. I love it.
You could do a dance.
I'm
could
gonna
play something.
You know to play any instruments?
If I know to play any instrument?
Any instruments.
No. I don't know to sing. I don't know to
You know
dance.
to sing?
I don't know.
I heard you sing on this program before. Mm-hmm. Well, whether you know to sing, you might hum a song, but it doesn't mean you can sing.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Good night.
Both of you all.
Good night.
The previous guy has called and said about poverty. I'm living at Woodley Park, and I'm living in a poverty line area where I've been blocked off. I spoke with the president recently, and to no avail, I cannot see or heard anything from them. We living in an area where there is we have to walk in mud. Hello?
Yeah, I'll be listening to you, yes.
I open a business and to no avail. Nobody has paid attention to me. I have 2 grandchildren going to school. I have my wife, myself. I have workers.
You spoke to the president, and what did the president say to you?
The president said he can get on to me and to no avail.
He can get on. Did he put you on to anybody, or he said he personally will call you?
And to his secretary, I spoke with his secretary today. She said to do him a letter.
I'll go right ahead and keep us posted what is happening.
Yeah, well, write the letter.
I remember he had an engagement on a lady.
I have people working me for the past 20 years.
How much staffers you have?
I get locked off.
No, how many staffers you have?
I have 4 staff working with me.
4 staff. I remember he had an engagement and a lady was asking him to build a road, and he asked how many other people live around by you.
5 person more.
She couldn't answer it, and so he's saying that I think the point that he wanted to make is that sometimes it doesn't make economic sense, but for the greater good also, some circumstance might be different from the other one. But in this particular case, you're being asked to write a letter. Go right ahead.
Well, go ahead and write the letter.
Keep us posted. What's happening.
4 other person living in the slum.
Okay.
Right.
Good. So
I think you have a case.
Right. So write the letter. Right. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, sir.
I would like Mr. Freddie Kissoon to listen to what I have to say.
Yeah.
Mr. Freddie Kissoon, have you read the book Guyana Nation in Transit?
I think I have. Yeah.
With Ashton Chase?
Yes, I have. I have it. Yeah.
Yes. That is one of the most powerful things
okay.
for this country.
Right. Thanks, sir.
Show it but
okay.
what
Thank you very much.
to our country during the 80s.
Okay then. Yeah, sure. Bye-bye.
Good. Bye. Good evening, caller.
Good evening. Mr. Gildarie, Mr. Freddie, good night to you guys. You guys are doing such a wonderful job. I want you to continue. Mr. Gali, one point I want to make. Very quick. I just heard talking about with the GPL, the call from Bobby's. In Essequibo, right not too far from this, telling when you come up with speedboat. We have in the street light, and we have a whole section of street light off for over a period of 2 months now.
Who's in charge of that? Public Works or the region?
Yeah, Public Works. Works. Because I personally try to get on to the guys working at GPL and said it's out of their hands.
Oh no, it's Ministry of Public Works that handles street light. But I'll tell you this. One of the admirable public servants I have met in this country is a man named Siram, who's in charge of street lights. I don't know if it's the whole country. Maybe, but if the street lights aren't working in Supernam, I will refer to him to this program and I will call him. That's one of the public works.
Mr. Fred, let me be straight with you. Let me be exact. Not indirect in Supernam. It's from Good Hope. From Good Hope to a place in next village named Spring Garden. So it's from Good Hope to Spring Garden. The whole section of light is not working. The last time it wasn't working, and the president come and keep the meeting here in Supernam at the road end. They subsequently find time to put it on. Now, just at the meeting thing, but like a week after, the light gone off again.
How many lights? How many lights?
A whole section.
That cannot be if these are individual solar lights. Hold on. I think sometime next week we are supposed to get a senior official. And if that being the case, I'm going to ask you to get
when this guy come on, when this very, very important person come on, if you don't get through, call our phones, my phone and Gildarie phone, and so we could put you on. Somebody very important that can deal with that. But I will speak to Mr. Siram. Mr. Siram is one of the great public sector that I've met and interacted with. Thanks for coming through, right? Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
thank
bye-bye.
you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Good night, Mr. Gildarie and Mr. Kissoon.
Good night.
Just a quick point I want to raise concerning cricket CPL. CPL is around the time right now, right? I have a suggestion concerning tickets, sales of tickets and availability of tickets. I would like to see if these tickets, if some could come down to a sub-office in Barbie, Connecticut, because the tickets only selling in Georgetown, and it's unfair.
I didn't know that. Is that so?
The ticket is going so fast by the time they open it and the thing there, you got
But I
people
mean,
lining up
this,
from
no,
5, 6
but
o'clock.
Saul, I don't go to cricket matches. I take an interest in cricket. I don't know, never been. I did not know that in this huge country of 83,000 square miles, of 10 regions, in which some of those regions are very important to our future, I didn't know cricket tickets are only sold in Georgetown. No. What happened to Bobby's? What happened to Region 3, Region 2? I didn't know that. If that was so, maybe the CPL administrators, something's wrong.
I think it's a very valid point. Right.
It put other people in important regions at a disadvantage. It's the same problem we've had over the past 50, 60 years with education in Guyana. All of those big fancy schools and all of those extra lessons are in Region 4. Anyway, I didn't know that. I hope somebody come to this.
Very good point. Very good point.
You see, that's why these programs are so important. I didn't know that. I thought you could go in Bobby's and buy CPL tickets. I didn't know that at all.
All right.
Thanks to the revelation.
Thank you for coming through.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good evening, caller.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
To Freddie and Leonard.
Go right ahead.
Yes, I was in Guyana a couple weeks ago. I spent about 3 weeks there. It's a system that is so screwed up there that I observe.
Go ahead, make a point.
Yes. I came from Canada. I booked a cab and I went to Parika. I dined the guy, give him lunch, buy some beer, give him everything. And the guy was so dishonest. I left some stuff in the car. I called the company of the car, if you want me, mention the name.
No, don't do that.
I'm going to put it on Facebook, that they should not go with this company again because they're so dishonest that I called in and I said, this was the driver number 40. And I said, good morning, how are you? Don't tell me about good morning. It's not nice here. I said, that is your behavior as customer service? I could not believe it. I was so shocked. I called 5 times. I left stuff in the car. I was willing to go back there and identify this guy. It's a cab company, and it's so dishonest. And this is the thing that brings bad to Guyana, of dishonesty of car, and you treat them with respect and you treat them great, and then they turn back and they lie and they're wrong.
Did you get back your stuff?
No.
But why you didn't go to the police? That becomes a police matter.
That's what I was being told. But I got no time to go to police because I know they wouldn't get nowhere.
No, man, you can't assume. Don't assume.
I'm going to say a couple of things to you, sir. I would like to reassure you and say without any fear of contradiction.
That is not symptomatic.
It's not. That broad brush is not all Guyana. We have some very good people. In fact, there's a man at the airport, and I love that guy. I tell you why.
That's not symptomatic.
At the airport, this little guy from Grove, you're supposed to know him. His name is Waja. And he's been working the airport.
I go to school with Wazir Ali.
Right. He was given, I think he was honored by the Ministry of Tourism a couple of times for being an ambassador of Guyana.
He is Wazir Ali. His brother was Wahab Ali from Grove.
Right. Wonderful character. And we have many more, thousands of people like that, decent, hard-working citizens.
And
you have a few scams too.
I give you a little more that I was stopping at a hotel on East Bank. And I had an issue, and they fixed it without any problem. They were willing to give me customer satisfaction.
Yep. It's only a few people, but I tell you, and Freddie is going to say it to you, we have wonderful people here. It's just that we got to fix some system, and this is all we're trying to do, fix the system one at a time.
Listen, last weekend, Coates had a 3-day sale. Buy something, and you get something else to have value. So if you buy something for 40,000, you get something for 40,000 else. And that place was packed. And I tell you this from my heart, those sales clerks were the best in the world. That courts were packed.
Let me just close out to Leonard and Gildarie. Is if I use a phone from Canada to come to Guyana, I paid $20 roaming charges per day. I came there, I got a SIM card and that phone working in Canada until now for 3 weeks on 1,500 Guyana dollars.
Our country is beautiful. I tell you that.
That's right. Gildarie, as you go and you talk to the minister, the police, what can help you guys the traffic jam? If they put up 4-way stops and some stoplight, they're going to ease much of your congestion.
Before you go on, I'm curious. What did you lose in the backseat of the car?
Oh my goodness!
What you didn't get?
All right, I'll give you. It was an expensive Audi cap plus some other items.
Expensive Audi what?
Audi cap. When I buy my Audi,
a cap.
An Audi cap.
Okay,
it was about 150 Canadian dollars for that cap.
You wear expensive caps, man. Anyway, thanks for coming through.
Because I bought the car, I got a free cap, so I cover my bald head with it.
Yeah, all right. When you come back here and come check me out. Thank you very much.
Check us out when you come back, right?
All right, I'm next to Leonard Gildarie.
I know who you are.
You're Gildarie's friend. Okay.
Yes, I know who. Thank you very much.
You got your friend Colin?
No. I met him. We grew up in the same. Well, he was way older than I was, and I was a little boy. But he went to Canada. He did very well for himself. Well, it's good. But just want to stress that we have wonderful people in our country.
Oh yeah, Gildarie.
And I don't want everyone to be painted with the same brush.
My wife and I receive not because of Freddie Kissoon.
You have any friends?
Yeah, if I have friends? No. When you're independent columnist like me, you don't get friends. Adam Harris once told me at Kite Show News 3 times, you can never get any friend. But I think the president and Nandalal, I could call those two persons, Minister Nandalal and the president, have said to me, you have done well for Guyana. Please let us know what we can do for you. But of course, I keep in my corner. I do respect them. No, I don't have any friends except one.
Mm-hmm.
You.
I'm a friend.
You're not my friend.
I'm a colleague.
You're my colleague, I don't have any friends.
Okay, all right, I'm going to buy you a burger sometime. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get those call. What's happening? You guys sleeping? We got about 15 minutes more. Let's see what happens here. 637-1071 and of course 231-2982. You guys sleeping tonight or something?
No, the phone's ringing. Don't insult. Don't insult.
No. Normally the people are all right up, but let's see. I got a call from court today. I tell you, answer the phone. Yeah.
Good evening. You're on to the Gildarie Freddie Kissoon show. Let's hear what you have to say. Hello?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, the point I want to raise, the issue with the institution in Guyana. Now, every institution is supposed to function based upon their role and their responsibility. For example, the police protect and serve.
Yeah.
They have the local authority.
Yeah, everybody has an obligation to society. Every organization, right?
Correct. And the various ministries with their branches in the region and so forth.
The press, civil society.
What we have happening in Guyana right now, the only time some things is fixed or work is when the president or some senior government functionary, the president or the vice president, goes into these areas. So when the president or the come to Amsterdam, then in New Amsterdam people get some relief.
Yeah.
Or when they go to, then somebody had a problem in quarantine and the president...
Yeah. How many times you have heard that? I'm much older than Gildarie, and I've heard that. I'm sure young Gildarie, every time a minister comes somewhere, the place is all painted up on the road.
I know.
It's not a nice thing. I'm sorry. I apologize if I'm laughing, but because of my age, I've heard that so many times. Every time the minister or the prime minister, president for the past 40, 50 years go somewhere, everything is spruced up nicely. I know what you mean, sir.
What I'm saying, no, you're not listening very well. What I'm saying, they're encouraging slackness in the various institutions. Because if I'm a president and if the town council or the region is supposed to do something in the region, and the people who are put there to do the job, I am not going to be fixing it. I'm going to deal with it. You're going to deal with the person or the institution who's supposed to do their work. So that when the president can't do every week, all 5 towns, and all the region and everything. So when you fix something in this region, what happened to the rest of the country? Only when you travel there, then something not fixed there.
But hold on, a lot of people.
Here, then something fixing. This is what you find happening. So every time a matter is raised, listen to this point, I hear what people saying. Talk to the president, talk to the minister, talk to the president, talk to the minister. This is the only time they're fixing. The people who are put in position and they're undermining the town council. This is why people, and when you find out, you know what happened? People just sit back now and relax and say, well, let the president fix it. Let the minister fix it, let the vice president fix it. We need a time with it. And people just sliding through. I hear the guy just complain about people in the office not doing their work. But how people don't do their work when the only people fixing something? President, Prime Minister, Minister. President,
Right.
Prime Minister, Minister.
Thanks a lot. Good. Point taken. Take care and call us next week again, right? Nice to hear from you. Bye-bye, sir.
But there's a very good point that the man has raised. There's another call here, yes. I'm going to come back to that. Good evening, caller.
Yes, good evening, Gildarie Kissoon show. I'm calling from Canada. Question for you guys. I don't know if you see recently, I read in the papers where the government of Guyana is seeking applicants from outside of Guyana to put jobs in Guyana.
They've always been trying to attract investors.
Yeah, but that's a public knowledge now because of the oil industry and its ramification.
But Freddie, Freddie, let me finish, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, first, don't you think, I don't know if there are institutions, but these problems don't only exist in Guyana. They exist throughout the world where there's a labor shortage. They bring foreign laborers when local can't fill it. But there are plans that people put in place in the same time. Does Guyana have plans for these people to bring in? Why can't we retain our own people in that country by training those people? Look, I was in Guyana a few times last year. I haven't seen any institution for welders training, like I'm talking about certified welders training, getting certification.
No, man, no, that is not so. We have a very two thriving institutions that do that training on Wilford Avenue. GTI.
Are you talking about structural welding, or are you talking about just small welding? I'm talking about structural welding.
But I don't know if that's a major structural welding.
It is. It's different from welding a teapot or something.
No, but you I don't know why you say a teapot, but those two schools, industrial schools in Wilford Avenue, they do train people in serious welding, not the teapot thing you talk about.
But I see they advertise for welding inspectors.
But you got to understand, I must interject here, and thank you for good night, Canada, dear. Look, we have been, let's say, I think it's just about 2019 to 2020 that we entered into the oil. Before that, we were struggling to have revenues from elsewhere. How do you find, the question would always be on the table, how do you try to fix all the problems or try to find a solution to the problem within a 4-year period and have all these answers? Because one of the biggest problem, I can't find somebody to weed in front of my yard or to put up 2 spindles because nobody is there. I can't get them. There's nobody there, nobody even working. So these are problems that's going to be manifesting itself and it's going to become worse. I think they're going to find about 50,000, maybe 100,000 persons more to fill the vacancies that exist within the working situation right now. They don't have them. And it's all in. You hear Gildarie complain. Gildarie told the Public Accounts Committee that the oil sector is stealing all our staff. That's how bad it is.
They're losing highly skilled staff to the oil
irony of that, the tax people who are collecting the money for Guyana are losing people to the oil sector. That's how bad it is.
You got to lower your volume there, sir. Okay. Thanks for coming through. Let's take this call. Thanks for coming through, sir. Right. Hello?
Mr. Kissoon.
Yeah?
How the cricket tickets are there?
Pardon me, sir?
How the cricket, the ticket was selling at the cricket booths are there for the 1 day on Sunday. And the West Indies are winning, and they raise the chuck of the ticket. Aye.
I don't know about that.
Are you talking about the West Indies on this program here? That's a topic by itself, man. You still pay attention to that?
You saying some tickets were
for the West Indies?
Go slowly and tell us what has happened. Go slowly. What are you saying? What's the complaint about?
The ticket is very expensive. They raise the ticket more than double.
Oh, the ticket for the common CPL? They've doubled.
The West Indies and India tickets.
Oh, they've doubled the tickets here. They doubled the price of the ticket.
Very expensive.
I don't know about that.
Try to see what you can do for me.
No. We can ask. I don't know.
Yeah, we can ask. That is outside of the ambit of the government. The government and any other section in Guyana, that's the West Indian Cricket Board that fixed that, not in the Guyana Cricket Board. Thanks for coming through. Bye-bye.
I think I think it is that the chairperson of the Grove NDC called me because he said he did receive. I'm going to call him. Let me call him right now. In the meantime, if any other,
I can't remember what's the complaint about.
The complaint was very quickly. I'm going to get it. Good evening, caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Afternoon.
Yes. Good evening.
Gildarie, Freddie.
Yes, it is.
Calling from Pennsylvania.
Good night, Pennsylvania.
I just want to say that I want to express my condolences to Comrade Luncheon and his family on the passing of a great man, and to say that the PPP has lost a great comrade.
Okay.
I just want to make one point, Gildarie.
You gotta lower your volume, so you could lower your volume of your phone or your TV. We're getting a feedback.
Yes. I just want to make one point.
Yeah.
I notice everybody wants to build their road at the same time. Everybody calling and complaining they want to build their road. Guyana is a land of many waters and many roads also. And I just want to say, guys, that Rome was not built in a day. We have to have patience, and we have to be ready to accept what the government is doing on our behalf.
Okay.
I want to commend you guys. You have a great show. Keep up the good works. And another point I've come to that I think you guys should have a secretary there to call up and to make points to the various departments or institutions.
I know. But you have to contribute to his or her salary. You have to help pay.
Do you know how much money? Do you know how much money Freddie Kissoon and myself spend per month coming to the show here on phone bills and?
Do you know how much I spend? I have to call these guests on my phone bill.
We haven't taken one because
anyway,
we don't want people to dictate us.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for coming through Pennsylvania. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like to make a point or two, if you'd allow me.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah, you are allowed.
I had called before, but I listened to Bernard Ramsey.
Oh, when he was on the program, yeah.
Last week.
Yeah.
And he had written a letter in the papers before that.
Mm-hmm.
And he had said then that the government has been doing something without proper planning. Now, I have done management in my studies, and I know a plan is a very important piece of your work. You plan, then you organize.
saying to you, I'm a PVP supporter, but I think the government has missed using a proper plan. You planning so that you can use what you have, so that you can achieve your objectives.
You think they don't have a plan?
And stone in your country readily. How could you be building all those things if you don't have people to do your work? How could you try to get all those objectives gotten into? You'd find yourself failing. And besides that, the country still has to run. So you need your people to be doing all kinds of things at the same time. But I think the government is trying to go too fast. I would commend the government for attempting to do it, but I think they underestimated the ability of our country.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming through.
Thank you very much.
Let me call back the chairperson.
What was the complaint about?
I think there's somewhere around Satin Street or something.
Well, let's take this call.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hold on. Good evening, Mr. Paul.
Good evening, Mr. Gildarie.
You're on the air. This is Mr. Rajendra Paul. He is the chairman of the Grove Diamond NDC. Somebody called in and they were complaining about I think the state of Satno Street or somewhere around there. I'm glad that you called us back, and I must commend you because we need more of our public officials to not hide behind any chairs or anything. We like the fact that they hear something and you act on it right away, and I do appreciate that. I'm going to give him your number, and if you could probably see what his grievance is. He did reach out to me yesterday, and I asked him to call in the program and give us a little more, but I told him you're a very approachable man as well. I do appreciate the fact that you have reached out, and I'm going to give him your number, and he's going to reach out to you.
Please see what you can do for the gentleman, sir. Thanks.
Sure, sir. Sure. But let me say this. Since I assumed office as chairman for the Grove Diamond NDC, I have an open door policy. In fact, I now have a public day, which is on Saturday. Every Saturday, you can come at the NDC office from 10 to 12. Any resident that reside within the LA area, the local authority area, they can come at the NDC if you have a problem, and we will take your issue down, and we'll try our very best to see how we can resolve.
I can't come tomorrow morning, but they're blocking up my 7th Street Road. The trucks are creating havoc. I told you with it. I'm not sleeping well.
Okay, let's take this call.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for coming through.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Paul.
Okay. You're
Hello?
welcome, sir.
Yeah,
This is our last call, Gildarie. Maybe one more from
Go right ahead.
Hello?
Good night. Okay, I have 3 points there.
Yeah, you got to be quick.
First is the passport office. It's very, very corrupt. People just, to rules, people just, they have their friends walking in there. You start up from 7 o'clock in the morning in the sun there, and other people just walking in and coming out with them documents.
What's the second one? Quick. Our time has come. Our time is up. Yeah, our time is up. What's the second point?
Okay, the second point, with this sun truck just speeding all over the road. And that's covering the sun.
No, that's madness. I've seen it myself. Yeah, I live on the railway embankment. So the police got to do something about them.
And I don't know how a person they just 20 years to get their license.
No. The police these sand trucks are crazy. I know what you're talking about. I see it every day where I live. What's the third point?
The third point, the NDCs, them dumping garbage all over the place right now. The Apurica NDC dumping garbage in the Essequibo River at Namik.
How do you know? How do you know it's the NDC?
Take some pictures and send it to me, boy.
Take some.
Yeah, the NDC dumped the garbage in the that's not written in the thing, and they might get scuba river that want the gate labor tourism.
All right.
No. You take some pictures and send it to us right away.
No. In this day. All right. The operator just told me our time is up.
Okay.
Gildarie has to sum up, and then that's it.
Thank you very much for coming. So send us some pictures.
Gildarie, our time is up.
Yeah, very quickly, and people talking about the truck. This is what happened. I hope this is not a knee-jerk situation. The police this morning conducted along the Friendship on the East Bank, and this is what happened. And I was told that some of them drivers ain't got no license. But let me tell you what they found. Maintenance of tire, there were about 20 cases. Five of them were in breach. Unlighted motor vehicle, 4 trucks, this out of 20 vehicle. Unlighted motor vehicles, 2. Faulty packing of load, that's 4. Breach of condition of fitness, I must see lights and them, things like that. 6 of them. Total 21 case. They revoke 10 lorries, the fitness of 10 lorries out of the 20 was revoked this morning.
Okay.
Imagine if you got 400 lorries. You want to do the math? What are we doing? Are we allowed the tail to wag the dog?
I want to let the operators go home. It's 10 o'clock.
Good night.
Thanks for joining us. We want to wish the president, we want to say congratulations to the president on his newborn baby and the attorney general on his newborn baby. And we'd like to say to the president, congratulations of achievement of 3 years in office.
So he got a baby for his 3rd year?
Yeah, it looks so. The baby was born just before the 3rd year. Most of all, thanks to you for coming through. It's there's a car coming through, but we gotta go. The operator say we're beyond time. Hope you get through next week. If we have a call-in, it was a wonderful ride. These call-in programs, we do learn, and not a little bit, a lot. Our operators say we're way beyond time. Thanks for coming through on behalf of Guyana's enduring journalist. He said he doesn't know what enduring means. On behalf of Leonard Gildarie, on behalf of our operators, and all of those who have made this show possible this evening, as I normally say when it's my turn to close off, bye-bye, catch you later.